Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about a news, uh, I guess a news report kind of thing, a discussion on, I think it was on like Irish television probably in the morning, I could be wrong, but I'm not up on Irish television, sorry guys, um, but um, they talked to a woman named Jane Buckston who wrote a 500-page book called The Plant-Based Con, and she says that everything that we're saying, people like myself and people like Freely, people like Hench Herbivore are saying are just it's just propaganda, and we're just conning everyone. So I'm going to go through what she says, and then I'm going to kind of rebut. I'm going to interject my thoughts on what she says, because she just says so much wrong. It's ridiculous.
Now, are we being misled by claims that plant-based diets are better for us and for the environment?
In her book, The Great Plant-Based Con, author Jane Buckston asks if the environmental arguments for veganism are based on false and misleading statistics. And Jane joins us now. Good morning to you, Jane. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning, because it is something that we hear all the time now, is save the planet, go vegan, healthier diet, potentially live longer, go vegan. For you to write a book like this, because I'm sure you're expecting a huge backlash from it, what's your background in this, and what made you get into this, I suppose, this topic that...
She found out she could make money by telling 95% of people good things about their bad habits. So were you like on carnivore forums or something? Because the Nutrition and Dietetics Association and the British Dietetics Association has said that a properly planned vegan diet is suitable for all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infants, athletes, elderly. I can't believe this is still going on, this anti-vegan propaganda, when there are vegans that have been vegan for as long as, probably almost as long as I've been alive. I know the vegan zombie has probably been vegan for 20 plus years. So this has got to stop. And the reason that she wrote this book is because she knows that people are just gonna lap this up. See, a vegan diet it's not gonna help anything. So I'm just gonna go eat, carcass and secretions. She knows that people want to hear good things about their bad habits. That's why this 500-page book was written. That's exactly why this 500-page book was written.
Be written.
So it's another marketing ploy. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not, I don't think it's quite that simple. I mean, that's one element of it, which is that big business, big food certainly has an interest in pushing this message, because the vegan movement has opened up an entirely new market for them in terms of vegan processed foods. But they're not the only ones. I think that feeds into a kind of constellation of groups who have an interest in pushing this.
So the message about cows being raped and male cows getting shot and chicks being ground up alive because they don't lay eggs, and hens having their reproductive organs messed with, and the rape of animals, all animals, in order to get them their young, and that veganism can heal A whole food plant-based diet can heal 14 to 15 top killers. That message, is that the message you're talking about that you don't want people spreading? Okay.
Message, and that includes, the media, who love the headlines on which are based on some of these studies. Which, by the way, the studies that say you're going to live longer if you're a vegan, if you dig deep into those studies, they very rarely actually.
Okay, what media has this woman been watching? Because the media is not really pro-vegan. Like, there's sometimes they'll have a little bit of a pro-vegan thing, Dr. Oz and all that, and the doctor sometimes, but then they go right back to pushing carcass and secretion. The next day they'll go back to pushing carcass and secretion. And I remember a few years ago when the World Health Organization, the WHO, came out and said that red meat and processed meats were carcinogen. Red meat was a probable carcinogen, and processed meat was a known carcinogen to cause cancer. Media didn't like that. They didn't jump on board with that. They all were all like, moderation, moderation, moderation. Veganism is not liked in the media. When you go on these morning news programs, they always get the vegan on that, just to make fun of them and to bash them. The media is not pro-vegan. It's anti-vegan because people want to hear good things about their bad habits. And probably a lot of the commercials that you see on those shows, they're, meat and dairy pushers. So what media has she been watching? It's ridiculous. And then she talks about global warming, and she says that it is not as big as we think, and we should still continue to eat cow carcass. And I am not an environmental expert. My master's was in public health, so I'm more on the health side. So if you want to see a video where discussing, the health the of a vegan diet on the environment, I recommend Cowspiracy, or Mike the Vegan sometimes does stuff on climate change, and Vegan Gains also does things on climate change. So I'm going to kind of skip the climate change part of it because that is not my expertise. I have heard different studies, different numbers. I've heard 55%, I've heard 30%. I've watched Cowspiracy, I've read the climate report, and I've just heard different numbers. So I'm gonna leave that alone. But I have heard that it is a lot more. It's not a minuscule amount. So I'm just gonna skip over the part where she is talking about climate change because I'm not an expert in that, and I don't want to open my mouth about that.
So how do you get the message out there, or are you finding that people don't want to hear it, that they've taken on this? It feels almost like a cult sometimes. This idea that we should be getting all our nutrients from plant-based diet, and that if you like your meat, and if you're into that you're not only old-fashioned but you're unhealthy, and that you don't care about the environment.
Who is she trying to give this message to? 95 to 96% of people already believe her BS, such as the nutrients claim and the environment claim and other things. So she's just wrote it to make a quick buck, and she's making a quick buck. She's on tons of TV shows, and people are talking about it, and people are talking to her. And this was not for me. It was 95% of the population, and people want to hear good things about their bad habits, and people like her are giving them that. They're giving them good news about their bad habits. And we need to push back against this and make videos. And this is why I started my channel, is to make videos. So if you could subscribe, that would be really awesome. But let's spread this message of veganism. The message of veganism, not the anti-vegan message that she's trying to spread.
and closed.
It's really interesting from the book as well. You talk about getting in your 5 a day, and that's something we hear as a child. Get in your 5, fruit and vegetables, so important. But that actually started from a marketing ploy, is that right?
We should actually be getting more than 5 a day. I probably get 5 a day in my, let's see, probably 5 a day in my breakfast smoothie, maybe 4 a day, depending on how much kale. I don't really measure food out like that. Just in my breakfast, I get 5 a day, almost 5 a day. If you want to count everything from the plant kingdom as your 5 a day, which I don't know if they do that, then I'm getting my 5 a day, and then I probably got today, I haven't eaten dinner yet, I'm working on this, but I've probably gotten maybe 8 today, of just fruits and vegetables, probably more. I don't really know, I don't really measure food at that, but we're supposed to get a lot more, but the government is afraid that if we make it, 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, people will just throw their hands up in the air and just say, I'm just gonna eat whatever I want. That's too hard. That's no, 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 and they'll give up. So that's why they've made it 5 a day. And I have an interesting story that I want to tell you about that one day, but I'm afraid it will be long for this video, and this video is already getting too long.
A marketing campaign, yes. And there is no evidence that 5 a day is the magic number or that everybody benefits from 5 a day. What I would really prefer to see is a message which says, eat a wide variety of real foods that are nutrient dense. And that will include fruits and vegetables, but it will also include really nutrient dense animal source foods.
Okay, she is right in the fact that you need a variety of foods, but you do not need to eat carcass and animal secretions in order to be healthy. But you do need a variety of whole foods with maybe a little bit of junk food. I wouldn't go crazy on that. I'm trying to cut back on that. You need a variety: fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, seeds, beans, legumes, herbs or herbs, because they're in the UK, spices. You need a variety. And she seems like the kind of person to make the whole, if you take 8 ounces of steak and 8 ounces of broccoli, there's more calories in the steak and it's more nutrient dense than the broccoli. Who eats 8 ounces of broccoli in one sitting? No one that I know, and I've been in a vegan group before, and oh god, it is just ridiculous. If you're gonna go vegan, do it right. Eat a variety of whole foods. It's ridiculous. And then they're gonna talk about mock meats. I don't really want to get into that because if you have common sense, but common sense isn't that common anymore, you know that these products are not marketed as healthy. They're marketed as an option for people to get off and get away from eating carcass. And they have the precious protein that everyone is obsessed with. That's another thing. She was obsessed with the protein. It has the precious protein. It came out on top. One of them came out on top on the protein. And I barely eat those anymore. They're just a little bit too pricey. I think that one day they're going to go down because more and more people are going vegan and they're cheaper to produce. But they're a niche market, right? They're still a niche market right now. But no one is claiming that these things are healthy. They are just saying that these are just another option for people that choose not to eat the dead, tortured flesh of an animal. That's all.
So for supplements wise, does it not, because people say, well, just take supplements, but is it right that they just don't digest the same as if you'd had it from a natural, from a steak, for instance?
Okay, I find it really disturbing that he is kind of recommending for people to eat a class 2A carcinogen. That's what red meat is. And he's kind of saying, oh, well, instead of taking supplements, you could get it from a nice steak. There's nothing nice about a piece of tortured animal. It's a class 2A carcinogen. And as far as supplements go for vegans, it all depends on where you live. I would recommend B12 definitely, even though you can get a lot of it from fortified foods. I get a lot of my B12 from fortified foods. And then, depending on where you live, again, um, vitamin D in especially in the winter months or in places that don't have a lot of sunlight. Me, it is. I live in Texas, so it is hot and sunny like 8 or 9 months out of the year. I have been swimming in an outdoor pool in almost November before. I mean, it is that hot here in Texas. It can be that hot in Texas for a long period of time, but for someone like them and the people that she's talking to and this program is talking to, vitamin D definitely, definitely. And yeah, so but let's see what she says about it. Let's see what she says about it.
That is correct. That the when you take supplements outside of a food environment, a proper food, a real food, it doesn't interact with the body in the same way. It's not absorbed in the same way, and in some cases, nutrients that are taken in a supplement form can be actually dangerous. Calcium is one of those if you take it outside of a food form. But then you also have to look at the basic question, which is what is food for? Food is to nourish us, to help us to survive and thrive. So I really question a diet or a dietary approach which says, oh, well, that doesn't matter. We'll just take the pills. That really seems to deny the purpose.
Again, she's going off the stereotype that vegans take like tons of pills every day. I don't think I've ever bought a. She uses calcium supplements. I don't think I've ever bought a calcium supplement in my life. I've bought a multivitamin that had calcium in it, but I've never bought a calcium supplement. I've never bought an iron supplement. I um I when I was younger, before I was even vegan, I did have vitamin A, but then you don't want too much of vitamin A, so that is right in the fact that you need to have a blood test before you start taking all these supplements. And I know people that aren't even vegan that take all these supplements. No one says anything to them. But as soon as a vegan, people think a vegan takes all these supplements. But as soon as people hear vegan, they think, oh, I want to see all the pills you take. It's like, I take one in a blue moon, dude. I don't take a gajillion supplements a day. So again, a double standard, a ridiculous double standard, and I'm kind of sick of it. I'm kind of sick of it at this point. And then they talk about, they kind of fearmonger that, you know, that this whole vegan thing has just exploded and restaurants are cashing in on this and kind of saying like this is kind of not a good thing. And they bring up the thing of McDonald's. They bring up the example of McDonald's. I mean, I haven't been to McDonald's in like over 10 years, but here, especially in the United States, and I think it's different in the UK, but in the United States, nothing at McDonald's is vegan. I mean, what McDonald's is she going to? Is she going to the one in India that has vegetarian options? I'm not dissing India. I'm just saying, like, did she go out of the way to find a vegan option? Let me know. Let me know about that because I don't know too much about McDonald's in the UK, I just know India has vegetarian options. But what McDonald's is she going to? I mean, um, yeah. So Um, yeah, so I don't know what McDonald's she's going to, but I mean, I'm glad that restaurants are catering to us. It's the right thing to do. Plant-based is growing whether they like it or not, and it's going to continue to keep growing because people are seeing the truth about how animals are exploited in factories and how they're treated. And so it's just going to grow and grow and grow and grow, and I'm really excited about that. And because they are appealing to the least common denominator, they have to, make fun of animal abuse and be proud of it, and then also, do the whole moderation thing. It's ridiculous.
I'm relieved. I'm going to have a steak and no conscience about it, no guilt at all.
But all the way through training, and we've had dietitians and nutritionists and doctors, and they've always talked about a square diet. And if you have a good, healthy diet with a bit of everything in it, you can't go wrong. Absolutely.
This was just another piece of anti-vegan propaganda. And if you liked this response video, please subscribe and let me know. I love reading comments from you guys. And I look forward to growing my channel. It is a baby channel. I have about 21 videos, and yeah, so it's really, really exciting. Thank you for my 12 subscribers. I'm not joking. That's how much I have when I'm making this video. I have 12 subscribers. So thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.